Welcome to another video. Before we get into things, a bit of housekeeping as always. If you haven't by now already done so, please would you kindly hit my subscribe button and make sure that you never miss a video on the channel. Please also give me a thumbs up if you enjoy my content and it's helped you in some way. Right, on to today's content, and big things are afoot in the world of identity and Microsoft. Yesterday, Microsoft had an event regarding Microsoft Entra. Entra is the umbrella term for all things identity within Microsoft 365. They announced some pretty big stuff. In fact, as the title of this video suggests, Microsoft Entra has gone large, and boy have they gone large. They have renamed something that we've all been familiar with for a very long time. Azure AD is becoming Microsoft Entra ID. They have introduced SSE capabilities into Microsoft Entra, tying in with conditional access and with their internet policies and private access policies combined with Defender for cloud apps. This is comprising Microsoft's dipping of their toes into the SSE world. It's exciting stuff, controversial to some, maybe in terms of renaming, but hey, we all get over that. But without any further ado, let's take a look. It's coming up. So what exactly has been announced by Microsoft then? Well, first, before we really get into that, let's take a look at a bit of the history of Microsoft Entra. Entra being the umbrella term for all things identity within Microsoft 365. I'm in the Entra Admin Center here at entra.microsoft.com, logged in my case, as a global administrator. You guessed it, I'm always going to remind you that you should always log in with only the required permissions that you need and use privileged identity management where you can, which funnily enough is a feature of Microsoft Entra. But a little bit of a history of Entra. It's been around for a year or so now in its current form, or previous form I should now say. And when it launched, it had three components baked into it. It had Azure AD, it had Verified ID, and it had permissions management. So it's been expanded out over the last year or so to add in additional features on the Tiles home screen here, like ID protection, ID governance, workload IDs, etc., etc. None of these are really new. These are things that have been within Azure AD for quite some time. They've just been presented in a different way within this newish Entra Admin Center. But what we get now when we log in to the Entra Admin Center is we get this little message here at the top. Azure Active Directory is becoming Microsoft Entra ID. And we can click on this to learn more. We'll have that link and we'll include that in the description of this video. It's a new name for Azure Active Directory, but they make it clear that no action is required from you, only the name is changing. And we get lots of good details here on what the change is going to look like. So Azure AD Free becomes Microsoft Entra ID Free. Azure AD Premium P1 becomes Microsoft Entra ID P1. P2, etc., etc. You get the picture. And we can apply this principle all across anything that has been called Azure AD. I'm going to presume that this includes what we currently know as Azure AD Connect, which is the tool that is used to synchronize your on-premises Active Directory to what we know as our Azure Active Directory at the minute, but what we are going to have to start calling Microsoft Entra ID. So I'm going to assume, and I'm going to check this out as soon as I get the chance, that it's going to become known as Microsoft Entra ID Connect going forward. So I think this is actually a good thing, this name change, in many ways, because I think Azure AD, in the context of where it now sits within Microsoft Entra, has evolved beyond being what it's described as, really. It's so much more than a directory. So I think the name change is suitable in those terms. I know name changes are not always popular, and people sort of push back against them. Cloud App Security, case in point. I still struggle to call it Defender for Cloud Apps. But in this case, I think it will It will stick. It'll take time to get used to. There'll be some hard work to do with documentation and the like, but I think it'll avoid confusion because a lot of customers often didn't quite understand the difference between what I would call pure Azure and Azure AD. And there's a distinct difference between those two things. So I think that'll create more clarity between Microsoft Entra ID and Microsoft Azure. So that gets the name change out of the way. That's the first thing that we have to get used to. And as we can see, if we go to Microsoft Entra ID, we go straight into the Identity tab here on the left, and we see all of the features that we know and love. We can manage our users and groups from here, our devices, our applications. We can go into protection and do identity protection, conditional access, now known as Microsoft Entra ID conditional access. You get the picture, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty cool indeed. I can get on board with that. So that's the first part of the picture that we got from Microsoft in the event yesterday. So what else is new? What else have Microsoft announced here for us? Okay, well, the big introduction was internet access and private access as part of what they are calling global secure access. And this is Microsoft's SSE solution. Now, what is an SSE solution, you might ask? Well, I just so happen to have searched for a good description of that. I'll put this link in the chat for you as well. This is from Tech Radar, a great site, have a lot of good content. So let's go to the top of here to see what it actually stands for. So there are two terms that we need to know about, and these were introduced by Gartner in 2021. So we have SSE, which is what Microsoft have launched, which is Security Service Edge, and that is a subset of features of what is called SASE or SASE, which is Secure Access Service Edge. And we can see in this article here, we can see the versus features and the security principles and the software-defined networking, optimization, and performance. And the verdict here, let's read this out in fact. So SASE and SSE, relatively new terms in the security industry, and debate continues about their respective relevance and importance for the future of cloud-based services. In summary, SSE-only vendors provide cloud infrastructure services with a focus on security services, whereas SASE vendors provide WAN, wide area network optimization, and routing services on top of those cloud security services. So for most companies, implementing SSE features is a priority, and these can be less expensive to deploy in the short term than a full SASE solution. On the other hand, having all services provided by one vendor, as with the full SASE model, does make for a superbly straightforward, scalable, and versatile solution. So this is Microsoft starting their journey here, I very much suspect. It's SSE for now. I suspect it will organically and slowly but inexorably evolve into full SASE solution. But this is good stuff, and let's see what it's all about. What does it give us? Let's just collapse the other sections here, and let's go to this new section that we have here, which is Global Secure Access. Now, it's a preview feature for now. If we click onto it and click on to Get Started, we get some links describing what's included. Let's quickly read these out, and we can click on the Get Started and get some learn.microsoft.com content, which I'll share in the description of the video. But we've got Microsoft Entra Internet Access. So by following these steps, you can use the first set of internet access for Microsoft 365 public preview features, which includes data exfiltration controls using universal tenant restriction, token theft protection using the compliant network check, improved performance and increased visibility into Microsoft 365 access, internet access controls for all endpoints. This is in a private preview. And then we have Microsoft Entra private access. And by following these steps, you can allow users to access apps in your private network from anywhere. Access can quickly be granted to all apps within a specified IP range to accelerate deployment and reduce the need for using VPNs that grant unlimited access to the entire corporate network. That sounds like great news to me. VPNs, been around far too long, horrible things, good riddance, hopefully. Okay, so that's what it's introducing. Now, when you first launch this in your tenant, you'll quickly have to activate this feature. Before you get to this screen that you see now, there'll be a button which says activate. You just got to press it. It takes seconds. You're in. You'll get to here. Awesome. What else have we got within here? What's it all about? We can see a dashboard. Let's just briefly toggle off the side panel there. Welcome to Global Secure Access, and it's going to show us the sort of insights and information and whatnot that we can expect to see in here. Obviously, this is the first time I've launched it. I got nothing in here yet, so I'll be doing lots of videos on this. You can be assured over the coming weeks and months, and we'll start to play with this and get some information in here to show how it actually works. But we're going to get a relationship map, which shows your network snapshot, showing users, devices, and apps that generated traffic in specified time range. We can see product insights on cross-tenant access, top used destinations, inactive devices, active devices. So a nice little dashboard there to give you a quick glance. We're going to be able to look at devices. So this comprises clients and remote networks. So what we have here is under clients, the tunnel end user device network traffic to Global Secure Access. You need to download and install the Global Secure Access client. So the installation can be interactive or silent, for example, using a mobile device manager such as Microsoft Intune. And the client is currently available for Windows client versions. For Android, iOS, and Mac OS will be released in the coming months. So to ensure you have the latest features, click this page frequently to update your client. We've got some system requirements here. We can go to download the client there as well. So that's good. We know that that's going to be available to us as we do this. Remote network. We have the ability to create a remote network here, and we need to complete the onboarding form to let Microsoft know which tenant to onboard. So we click on onboarding form. And here we need to review the tenant information. We need to send an email to Microsoft and go. I'll not do that just yet. I want to do that in my own good time. So that's the device section. Applications are relevant to Global Secure Access Preview as well. Under Quick Access, we can create quick access configurations. So we can add a quick access application segment in here. So we can do that by destination type of IP address, fully qualified domain name, IP address ranges, etc., etc. We can put in the IP address there and the port, so we can create those segments. So that's the quick access, and we can look at our enterprise applications here. We can create applications here and view, filter, and search them in your organization that are set up to use your there's the first one, Microsoft Entra ID tenant as their identity provider. So that's enterprise applications. So there we go. We're getting through these settings. Now, the important stuff really is in some of the more important stuff that probably should be higher up the list, because this is where you'd go first, is in the global settings. So let's take a look at what we have in global settings. And session management. We've got tenant restrictions here. So tenant restrictions enable admins to control whether their users can access an external organization's resources with accounts issued by the external organization while using your organization's network or device. So you can enable tagging to enforce tenant restrictions on your network, easily toggle that on and off. We've got adaptive access as well, settings to allow admins to enable features used by Microsoft Entra Conditional Access and Microsoft Entra Identity Protection. So identity protection and conditional access tie into these new features very, very strongly, and I'll show you how as we go through the video a bit more. We've got logging as well. We can do some logging here. The M365 integration allows you to stream selected activity logs to global secure access for additional enrichment with network, device, and user information. And once the data is enriched, you can export the data in near real time to your selected resource, such as event hubs and storage accounts. Prerequisites, what do you need? Tenant permissions, global admin, yep, big tick there. So that's good. And configuration, what we can do here is connect Office 365 activity logs to global secure access. So at the moment, we can only do it for SharePoint Online. Teams and Exchange are coming soon. And note that it can take up to 72 hours for integration to complete. Let's save that. I want to do that right now. Cool. So global settings, important to take a look at as early as you can. Get things the way you want before you get into those devices and applications and so on and so forth. Secure, also very, very important. We've got some policy profiles and some web filtering policies in here as well. So what have we got under policy profiles? Well, as it happens, this is a private preview at the moment. We can get exclusive access to the upcoming release. We're excited to offer our customers an exclusive preview. So you've got to submit a request to join the private preview. So if you click on that, you're going to get a form and you've got to complete that. So there you go. I've already done that actually. So hopefully I'll get it fairly quick. Web filtering policy, you're going to get the same. You've got to submit that request form to join. So keep checking back on those. As with all preview features in Microsoft, keep checking back and you'll see things slowly start to trickle in. The connect section, also very, very important. Now, this is where you configure the traffic forwarding for managing traffic forwarding profiles. So there are two in here. When you first go into here, I've been in previously already. These are not selected. You've got to explicitly check them. So Microsoft 365 profile. So I've ticked that. I've ticked the private access profile. It shows what these apply to as well. So this is enabled. It applies to all Microsoft 365 traffic. And we've got three policies that we can view. We can link it to conditional access policies, and we can choose where we want to assign this to in terms of all client devices or remote networks. Let's take a look at these traffic policies. So what are these? Let's see what exactly we get here. And we can see that global secure access only acquires TCP traffic. Branches acquire IP identifiable traffic. So, and please note that Microsoft are working on acquiring additional Microsoft 365 traffic. So, and you can get a list of all the complete URLs and IP ranges for Office 365 from the link here. So what we've got in here in terms of policies at the moment are Exchange Online, SharePoint Online, and OneDrive for Business, and Microsoft 365 Common and Office Online. We can expand these out and see exactly what we've got. So in here, in the rules, we can see here on the information, please find the policy rules listed where you can customize each rule to either bypass or forward the traffic. So we've got some good stuff in here. We have got FQDN, and we've got things like Outlook.office.com, Outlook.office365.com. We've got our ports, 80 and 443. We've got categories here of optimized or default or allow. The protocol, all TCP, as it stated up above here, only TCP traffic at the moment. And the action, default is forward, or we can choose to set to bypass if we want to do so. So that's what we've got in terms of our policies and rules. Similar principles in here for SharePoint OneDrive for Business. So we've got wildcard in there, star.sharepoint.com. We've got some other FQDNs in there. Cool stuff. And then the last one, the common and Office Online rules. Again, we've got some FQDNs in there, star.auth.microsoft.com. If you hover over, you get the full list there. account.activedirectory.windows.azure, windowsazure.com. I'm presuming we'll get some Entra IDs in there at some point. IP subnets, FQDN. So we can make the changes you want there. Watch out for more policies and rules coming as Microsoft develop this. So yeah, we can add assignments there, and telling me here my tenant has not been onboarded yet for branch connectivity. So in order to do that, what you need to do is go to the Entra portal, Global Secure Access, Branches, and click the link in the banner and submit the form. So there's some housekeeping you need to do to get some of these things going when you get started in order to to get going. So private access profile here, that's enabled as well. This will apply to private resources. We can't do anything here at the minute. That's not good to go yet. So again, keep on checking back. We've got some connectors as well. So we've got application proxy in here. App proxy is currently disabled for my tenant. It's grayed out. I can't enable it. I'm actually not sure why that's the case. If anyone can tell me, then I'd be most grateful. It's been a while since I've done anything application related within M365, so if anyone's got a clue on that before I figure it out, please let me know. But so here you can configure application proxy, and you can do new connector groups, and you can download the connector service. You can configure apps in here. And then finally, the final section we have in here is monitor. And here we can get some audit logs. And again, you can see that Microsoft haven't populated some of these areas in the new preview features yet. So keep on checking back, audit logs, traffic logs. Traffic logs are there. So we can see traffic logs now. We can filter those and download, and obviously nothing found at the moment. Enriched Microsoft 365 logs. We're excited to introduce this. To configure it, go to global settings, logging to configure the preview. And then we've got workbooks. So analyze global secure access traffic logs with Azure workbooks, and you can learn how to configure those. So a lot of new stuff there, a lot of new stuff, lots to process. So that's what it's all about. That's the new features that are being introduced with Global Secure Access, the SSE solution. Now, I did say we'd get back to conditional access. What does this look like in terms of conditional access? Well, let's take a look. You'll remember that I went in and I enabled the Microsoft 365 profile a little bit earlier. And if I go into conditional access now, let's just kill the side panel again. Let's take a look at some policies. If I go in and I do a new policy now, I've got some new stuff in here. I've got target resources. I do wish these informational things would say a bit more sometimes. No target resources selected. Let's click on that and go in and see what have we got. Now this looks a little similar to what we've had previously. In fact, we've always had this section here. Have they changed what that was called? That maybe was called something different, because this has always been here. And you could do cloud apps, and you could do user actions and authentication contacts. But now we've got this preview feature for global secure access preview, and we can select the traffic profiles that this policy is going to apply to. And here we go. We can see that we can do it by Microsoft 365 traffic that we configured earlier. The internet traffic and private traffic are not yet available, so keep checking back for those as they become available in the preview. And of course, for the private configuration, you've got to submit that form and register your interest in the private preview. So and here the information was telling us here, so you can apply policies to the network traffic that your organization needs to secure and manage. So that's how it relates to conditional access. We can now apply to that Microsoft 365 traffic using the new preview global secure access category in target resources. So cool stuff indeed, really cool stuff. I'm just going to cancel out of that, and let's go back to protection. Let's take a look at identity protection. Now, in the session that was broadcast by Microsoft, in the announcement of all this, it was announced that identity protection would be getting a bit of a makeover. Oh, here we go. New overview coming soon. So let's just collapse the side panel again, and we're going to getting a whole new look to this. So lots of new insights and enhancements in identity protection. So this is really cool stuff indeed. So what does this all mean in the grand scheme of things? What exactly does Microsoft's new SSE solution comprise? Well, there are three elements to it, really. Two of them were announced yesterday. And if we go back to, if we pull out the panel again and go to Global Secure Access and get started. So two of them were announced yesterday: Entra Internet Access Entra Private Access. They are 2 out of 3 components that make up Microsoft's SSE solution. The third one that completes the set is one that's been around for a long time. Another renamed product, ironically. It's Defender for Cloud Apps, the CASB Cloud Access Solution Broker solution from Microsoft 365, formerly known as Cloud App Security. So those 3 elements combined comprise the SSE solution. So this is a great step from Microsoft, in my opinion. The renaming might cause some controversy, as indeed it did with Cloud App Security to Defender for Cloud Apps, but this is only the tip of the iceberg, though. I mean, there's so much more to come. I'm going to start doing a lot more videos on Entra as a whole, because I've not even talked about things like permissions management and verifiable credentials yet in videos. Those are topics that are very, very interesting and relevant, especially verifiable credentials. And just to give you a little bit of an overview of what that is, well, in fact, I've got to complete the first step on the setup page before using the service. But essentially what that is for external users to an organization, or guests or customers, if you like. It's to enable them to verify into an organization with a decentralized identity. So, for example, logging in with LinkedIn credentials and so on and so forth. So that's what verified ID is all about. So much exciting stuff coming within Microsoft Entra as we move forward. Cool stuff indeed. So that's it, folks. Some pretty major and very cool stuff in there. My overall thoughts on this, I think this is a really positive step from Microsoft. I think it was inevitable that they would get into the SSE and SASE space at some point, and I think there's more to come. I think we'll have the complete package before very long. I think I'll certainly be playing with this. I'll be getting to know this because working for a Microsoft partner, I know that my customers want this. And Microsoft know this too, and they don't want third parties having the monopoly on all of this good stuff. So it's going to be a big deal. The name change, I don't mind so much. I think for me, it does one very, very good thing, and that is it will eliminate the confusion that has been around for many years for customers who simply don't know or understand what the difference is and was between Azure AD and pure Azure, if you like. So that's going to avoid any confusion, because we're now going to have Microsoft Entra ID and Microsoft Azure. Nice and simple. It's going to simplify things considerably. So overall, I'm in favor, and I'm going to be very, very keen to see where things go. Big props to Vasu Jakkal and her amazing team for a great event. Thank you, Vasu and team. If any of you just so happen to be watching this, you never know. But I appreciate your efforts and all the work you put into this. I know how much it means to all of you, and it doesn't go unnoticed. So there we go. Right, let's close up the video. A reminder, as always, please hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed the content, if you found it useful. Share with me your comments down below, or reach out to me on Twitter at M365Rising. Also, don't forget to hit that notifications bell to make sure that you never miss a video when I post new content. Right, thank you so much. Until next time, I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.